Since my channel is Germany based and I'm an American from a specific region of the US, I bet sometimes I say something in my videos that makes people be like, what? What did he say? A lot of the times I try to catch that stuff so that everybody can understand what I'm saying, because I know I'm speaking a language that's not native to the region my channel is popular in. But sometimes some stuff is just going to slip out. You can either holler at me in the comments and try to get some clarification on what I meant, or just roll with it because you know I'm not perfect and I'm is what I'm is. What's going on, everybody? It's Christopher and I'm back with another video. I appreciate you guys watching the content. The only thing that I ask and appreciate is that you like the video. So Germany, I'll be asking a lot. I know, but today's video is gonna be an interesting one. You're gonna have to listen a little bit closely because some of this stuff is probably gonna fly over your head. I'm gonna be talking about different American accents and dialects. Or probably throw in some slang words and stuff like that too. So any event, any of you who are German ever wanted to know what it is that people were saying or talking about when you overheard them or seen a video or whatever the case may be, maybe this video can help you out. So a quick recap, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. In that region, it's the Midwest, we have our own different kind of way of speaking. It's the same as any other region in the US. They have their own ways of speaking, and it's what they come up knowing. It's what they grow up on, and it's basically all they know. I've spoken the same way all my life. It's all I know. Back when I lived in Missouri, I didn't travel out of the state enough, and I didn't stay out of the state enough to soak in and gather in the fact that there's different kinds of ways of speaking, different dialects, different kind of regional slangs and stuff like that, all across the US. When I joined the military and got to meet different kinds of people from around the country and around the world, is when I discovered that, man, this world is so diverse. And I attribute to a lot of the way that I speak now to that. Not that I'll ever be able to give up my roots, because that's in me. That's what I grew up on. But I've learned that it's okay to bend just a little bit in order to be able to communicate with different people around the world. And to me, it's just kind of fun to be able to relate to so many people. And quite honestly, I've met so many people now who are unlike any of the people that I grew up with back in St. Louis, Missouri. So speaking of St. Louis, Missouri, I kind of want to begin this right there with some St. Louis basics, some things that I'm 100% familiar with that other people may not be. So us St. Louisans, we tend to drag our R's on the back of words that end with the R sound. So here, our first example is for the word here. When you talk to a person from St. Louis, when you hear them say the word here, you'll hear it like her. So hot in her. So for example, in the sentence, can you come over here, would be, can you come over her? And by the same token, there would be the same way. How long will you be there? How long will you be there? And following right along with that, where would be just the same. Where will you be after that? Where will you be after that? It's actually quite simple. And back where I'm from, this is spoken where. So one other basic St. Louis commonality is how we label our friends. And as far as I know, this is a St. Louis thing. So we have a few titles that are common for people that we know well or we consider our friends. These might sound weird to you, but it's normal where I'm from. So we may call our friends either Mo, Folk, or Dirty. Now I know it sounds a little bit disrespectful, like, you know, Mo Dirty Folks. But these are some common titles that we consider our friends. So using each of these in an example, it would sound like this. Hey, what's up, Mo? Not much, Folk. How you doing? Oh, I'm chilling, Dirty. You get me? Okay, so those were a few St. Louis basics. So now let's move on to a little bit more regional stuff. Some common terms that I had become familiar with from speaking to different people around the country are how they say about to. So it's a completely different spelling and pronunciation than what you might be expecting. And it sounds like this. So instead of someone asking, where are you about to go? They would ask, where you finna go? And as far as I know, that one is a Midwest thing. It's a Midwest thing. It could stretch beyond the other regions. I just don't know that it does. Another way of saying where you're about to go would be, where are you fixing to go? Now this word has been cut short in the next one and it's been changed to, where are you fitting to go? The next common term might not be that much of a stretch, but it is one that I kind of noticed. The word baby. This is the way I grew up hearing my grandmother saying it, and I just thought that that was the way it was pronounced. So for an example, if someone was to say, "Oh, come here, baby," instead of that, they would say, "Oh, come here, baby. Come here, baby." I know, might sound weird to some. The next common term refers to a creek, which is like a baby river. With this word, you might hear it pronounced as creek, or you might hear some people, which commonly in the North I've found they say it like this, you might hear it as crick. So where are you going? Down to the creek. Where are you going? Down to the crick. The next common term has been split all the way up. Whenever I hear people use any one of these, they are so stuck in it that there is no way you'll get them to call it anything else. And it's the term used to describe a soda. I call it soda. Some people call it a pop, you know, a pop.
Cold pop.
And that's fine, I get that. I didn't hear that until I went towards the west of the US, more western parts of the US. I didn't hear anybody calling it a pop until I visited those areas. But then I went to the south and had to witness them calling, no matter what kind of soda or pop it is, they called it a Coke. Doesn't matter if it's a Coca-Cola, they called it a Coke. What are you drinking? Is that grape soda? Yeah, it's a Coke. Seriously, no matter what kind of canned soda it is, it was considered a Coke. If it's Sprite, it's Coke. If it's Dr. Pepper, it's Coke. If it's 7-Up, it's Coke. That was strange to me. So now let's talk about a few greetings. Now, I understand that most of these are probably just going to be considered street slang, but nonetheless, it's widely used and I'm going to talk about it. So as far as the greeting, what's up, that's been changed into multiple different ways of saying it, including but not limited to what's up, what up, what's good, what's happening, and what's popping.
What's popping?
I can already hear my German viewers like taking this so literal, like someone would be asking you like what's literally happening in the world or in your life or at that moment, but it's really just a greeting. So if someone asks you like what's popping, you can be like, oh, I'm good, what's popping with you? And just be like, I'm cool too. Yeah, I know. Emphasis. So when people want to put emphasis on a statement that they're saying or a question or whatever the case may be, these particular terms emphasize what they're saying, okay? So let's name off a couple. Off the rip, off top, on God, on my mama, and on everything I love. You can say any one of these after a statement that you really want to emphasize and you really want to get your point across on, and people will understand what it is you're trying to do and say. So if somebody wanted to be like, man, I swear that party was banging, on everything I love, that was the best party I've been to, you would know what they mean. Or, man, the next person to step on my shoes is getting dropped off top. People would know you're serious. Law enforcement. So there are a few names that we have for police back in the States, and they're not limited to this. I'm just not going to name them all, just so this platform won't have a fit and try to penalize me. But they can go from popo, one time, 5-0, them boys, the law. Any of those is appropriate when you're trying to let somebody know that you're referring to the police. Affirmations. Now, what I mean by this is statements that you tack on to another statement to let people know how serious that thing is. This is kind of like emphasis, but kind of different. You'll see. And these particular ones might be generational, but yeah. So if you wanted to say something like, I like that, you could say, that's flames. Or you can be like, that's fire. Or you can be like, ooh, that go hard. Or you can just say this last one, which I'm not a fan of, is that slaps. And I know y'all heard a lot of these. They're all over TikTok and other social media, all over. Confirmations. Now, much like emphasis and affirmations, you also tack these onto your statement in order to solidify and confirm what it is you're saying. So if you say something to somebody and you really want to make sure that the information you're giving them is absorbed, you can use these. Now, these are going to start to sound a little funky towards the latter part. Now you can say, do you understand? You dig? You feel me? Do you get me? You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? Or you can say, yum tamai. Now what that translates to is, do you know what I'm talking about? Now I have behaviors, and I mean behaviors as defined by the person who will be saying these things to you. So these words, wildin', geeking, tripping, and bugging. So to use them in a sentence, it would sound something like, oh, you should have seen what he was doing last night. He was wildin'. And, oh, you should have seen what he was doing last night. He was geeking. And, oh, you should have seen what he was doing last night. He was tripping. And, oh, you should have seen what he was doing last night. He was bugging. And each of these I've seen being used interchangeably throughout people from all the regions. So it's going to highly depend on who you talk to that says who's claiming these terms. And I'm too lazy to do any research to see where they originated. And frankly, I just don't care. All right, so that's all I got. Hey, like the video before you leave. I'm doing daily for a little bit, so be on the lookout for the videos, okay? Boom. Oh, too early. Oh, there we go.